Independent voters in Arizona are fighting to make their voices heard. As it stands now, only those registered as Democrats, Republicans, or Green Party are able to vote in next month's presidential preference election. Reporter Sydney Glenn took a look at the push for open elections.
Independent voters in New Hampshire totaled 39% of the ballots. Here in Arizona, about 40% are registered as independents, but independent is not a recognized political party in Arizona. Now groups are working to change that.
Standing outside the Burton Barr Public Library in Phoenix, advocates for open primaries in Arizona are collecting signatures to change Arizona's independent voter laws.
We all are voters. We all have a voice. We should be able to vote our conscience.
Arizona instead has a presidential preference election, which does not allow independent voters.
You don't always agree with everything a party's doing. So be able to vote independently will give us the ability to vote how we want to vote.
Of the almost 2 million registered voters in Maricopa County, over 700,000 identify as independents. Only about 7,000 voters have changed their affiliation so far, a fairly even split between Democrat and Republican, and a few to the Green Party. But not all independent voters in Arizona know this, and there can be confusion on Election Day.
We will still see some independents floating in, not knowing this, thinking, why can't I vote?
Some independent voters don't want to switch their party affiliation and would rather just not vote.
I personally I don't believe I've ever affiliated myself with a party for the opportunity to vote.
And for the ones that do switch over to vote, many switch right back to independent.
I would say the majority of them would want to switch back into the independent party.
For this presidential preference, independent voters will not be able to vote, but David Handley hopes that will change in the future.
I'm doing this so not only I can vote my conscience, but everyone here in the state of Arizona can vote for the best person and not a party. And that's the way it should be.
By February 22nd, in order to vote in the presidential preference election on March 22nd. That can be done online at servicearizona.com or in person at the Maricopa County Recorder's Office. In the Broadcast Center, Sydney Glenn, Cronkite News.